You had the idea to organize the first international symposium, and you and Michela talked to Dr. Moser, who approved the idea. What happened at that time?
It happened that Dr. Moser said, yes, the idea is good, but I don't have the money to support it. So Michela took out from her wallet a checkbook and gave him $5,000 as an advance. Then Dr. Moser also said, we said to Dr. Moser, we would like to participate in this symposium. And Dr. Moser said, yes, but you should shut up. You should not talk. And instead, of course, we did talk. And I don't remember what Michela said, but I remember what I said. And that was a piece of, a piece of the gospel, which said, lux orta est. And I said in the symposium, I hope that the doctor will shed light su questa on this disease which is so rare. And so the scientific conversation was started, and but nothing came out of it, except one of the doctors, Dr. Rizzo, said, you know, I have incubated some of the AD cells with oleic acid. And the very long chain fatty acid started to go down. But so is Dr. Moser then started the meeting, and he also made a speech, and that was okay. When we come home, Michela, the first thing that Michela did is to find out someone who would produce the oleic acid in triglyceride form, because Dr. Rizzo has told us, we asked Dr. Rizzo, where can we find this oil in triglyceride form? And he said, be careful, because the oil might disrupt your intestinal tract. So it should be in triglyceride form. So Michela went home. As soon as she was home, she started to call all the firms in America. And she found one that, for industrial reason, produced exactly the oleic acid in triglyceride form. So we did feed Lorenzo with that, and indeed the very long chain fatty acid went down. But since he had 4 times more than normal people, then we were not satisfied with it because we wanted to eliminate for good the very long chain fatty acid. And so I, one night in 1978, so after 3 or 4 years from the symposium, I got an illumination or an idea that I reasoned that if oleic acid would cut down the very long chain fatty acid, which corresponded to the formula is C18-1, I said to myself, my gosh, if we can eliminate completely this very long chain fatty acid, perhaps if we add C22, C22-1, which is the euric acid, then perhaps we have done the trick. And so we again, Michela started to look around for people who produce euric acid. However, she didn't find anyone in America. So she had to go to England. And there she found a firm, Croda International, which accepted the challenge. And they recalled a senior biochemist who did produce the euric stuff. Then he sent it to us after 6 months because to produce euric acid was not an easy task. It had to be extracted through molecular distillation. But anyway, he sent us the bottle of oil, and we started to give it to Lorenzo. No, we mixed it with the oleic acid, and this combination of the two oil, we give it to Lorenzo. And after a few days, the very long chain fatty acid were normalized. And that was the first time in the history of medicine that the very long chain fatty acid were normalized. So I was very, very glad. For me, it was like, coming out from a terrible dream. And so also Michela was very happy with it. Then, okay, that was what about how invented the fatty acid. How invented Lorenzo Soy. Then I think that the audience, your audience, would like to know about the movie. How come the Hollywood made a movie about it? And what happened is that I convinced a writer of Newsweek to write an article about it. And that was very important, and it took me lots of sessions with the reporter in Washington. But then at the end, she was convinced. And that's part of when I say that I've been lucky. In fact, I've been lucky because to convince someone to write an article in Newsweek is not very easy. And also it took, again, some fortune. Then, when this article was published, there are immediately other articles that were published, and one of them was in the London Sunday Times. And the author of this article was Russell. I forgot his first name. And then George Miller was sitting to have breakfast in Sydney and saw this article. I said, my gosh, if this is true, I want to make a movie. And I said, why do you want to make a movie? And he said just one thing. I want to make a movie about heroes. And in my mind, he said, you and your wife are heroes. So I said, well, okay, how do you go about to verify that the story was indeed true? And we said, if it is true, I'll come to Italy. And anyway, he should have come to Italy also for other reasons. So he did come to Italy, and my son showed him a television movie that was made in Italy. And which was not bad. The actors in that movie were Dominique Sanda, who was a celebrated French actress. The actress that did, for example, The Garden of the Finzi Contini. And, but then George Miller said, but I can do much better than that. And then then he came, at that time we were in the Virginia mountains, and he came with one of his collaborators. He came to visit us, and I gave him the address of all the people involved, the doctors involved in the story. And what happens is that he went around and contacted all of them. And then I remember he had a Cadillac, and we went back from the Virginia mountains to Washington. And so we discussed who should have been the actors. And he proposed that Michelle Pfeiffer would do the part of my wife, Michela. Then for me, I asked him whether he would choose Marcello Castro.